Today's incident will wake up your soul. Please watch the incident till the end. When my Hafiz Quran wife died, a monkey would come and sit on her grave every day, cry a lot, start clawing at the grave and start digging the grave. After all, what sin had my Hafiz Quran wife committed that the monkey would dig at her grave every day? Why did the digging monkey want to dig the grave and take out the dead body of my noble wife? After all, what was the relationship of the monkey with her? My name is Abid, and today I was very sad because my wife had died. She had a sudden heart attack. All the family members were very surprised to hear the news of sudden death because in our house there was a big family. There was peace, and we were like normal married couples between our wives. There was no fight, but suddenly my Hafiz Quran wife got heart disease and she left on her time. My children were crying badly in a state of shock, and the family members were taking care of them. I was sitting sadly among the men. My mind had completely shut down. I was worried about what would happen to my house now. How would I survive without my wife? Most of all, my daughter and son were very small. Now no one could give my children love like a mother. After making arrangements for the shroud, the family called me inside so that I could perform the funeral procession. I wanted to see my wife for the last time before I went inside, and my heart started sinking after seeing my wife. I was a man, but still I cried bitterly. I loved my wife and she was a very kind woman. It was very strange for me to leave for the last time, but I tolerated this sorrow and the funeral. After giving my shoulder, I moved towards the funeral ground. After my wife's last rites, when I reached home, I came to know that my younger daughter's health was very bad. She was very close to her mother, hence she was not able to tolerate all this. She was a 4-year-old girl. I summoned my grief and started taking care of my daughter, but her fever had increased a lot. It was daytime, so I took my daughter to the hospital. The doctors brought down her fever with great difficulty, but we stayed there from evening to night. When I brought the girl home, she was not ready to go away from me. In order to take care of her, I could not visit my wife's grave for 2 days, and the second day also passed like this for 2 days. After my daughter's condition got better, I put her to sleep during the day and I reached my wife's grave. As soon as I reached the grave, the monkey present on the grave started crying after seeing me and started praying with folded hands. Then suddenly, he started clawing at my wife's grave. I tried to drive away that monkey, but the monkey sat there. I was crying continuously. Then I chased that monkey away from there with great difficulty. After that, I started reciting Fatiha on my wife's grave, and after some time I got up and went home. There were guests present in the house. My sister and brother were also living in my house, and the people who were leaving were coming to refresh themselves. Now I visit my wife's grave every day for an hour, but whenever I went to the grave, that monkey would sit on my wife's grave and cry and raise his hands and ask for blessings. I would somehow drive him away from there, but this thing started troubling me. I started becoming a victim of nervousness. I wonder what this monkey would do with my wife's grave after I leave. And after all, what is the relation of this monkey with my wife? My wife's grave was also still raw, but now the same thing was troubling me, that the monkey might start digging the raw grave. Even before going home, I used to run away that monkey from there. And even when I was home, I used to worry about my wife's grave all my life. I'd never seen any monkey digging a grave like this. My wife's grave was very well maintained, and there was no problem in digging the grave. Still, I don't know why that monkey kept coming to my wife's grave all the time. After a few days when the guests left the house, the routine of our house became normal. For my wife, all 3 of us were feeling the loss very strongly. My children used to cry, remembering their mother. When I started going to my house, it became difficult for the children to stay alone at home. I hired a maid at home. She was a resident of the village and she was a widow and had no children. She took care of the children very lovingly. Because of her, the children started becoming somewhat normal, so I became satisfied too. I made it a routine to visit my wife's grave, and I used to go there at my leisure and sit for a long time. I kept reciting there, but that monkey still saw me and went to my wife's grave. He used to stay nearby and would make me drunk and try to dig my wife's grave. Initially, I would have got very angry, and I would have killed him and driven him away. But now I was forced to think why he left all these graves and went to my wife's grave. It comes, but it was not possible to open the grave without any reason due to the actions of a mindless animal. I could not open my wife's grave. I kept ignoring him for so many days, considering him to be an animal, but my heart was very restless. At night I tried to sleep, but I could not sleep. One night I slept and saw myself in a dream. My wife was locked in a room and there was fire everywhere in the room. My wife was crying, very upset, but was not able to say anything, but I could feel her helplessness. And at the same time, when I opened my eyes, my whole being was drenched in sweat and I was shivering badly. I was lying on the bed for so long. I sat holding her. My wife was very kind and fluent in Quran. I felt like I was thinking about my wife's grave all day. That's why I have this dream. I forgot that dream till morning and got entangled in the affairs of life. But the next day when I went to the grave, the same monkey was again sitting near the grave. I remembered my dream and without thinking I hit him and drove him away from there. When I slept at night, the same dream came again. This time my wife was lying unconscious in the room due to fire and smoke, and I was standing outside watching everything. When I opened my eyes, I felt very troubled. I was not able to understand how to go to the depth of this matter. Next morning, I went to the mosque and met Imam Sahib. When I told about the problem first, after listening to the monkey, Imam Sahib explained to me that he is an animal which is doing such behavior out of ignorance. You should cut some thorny bushes for a few days and spread them on your wife's grave so that animals cannot reach there. But when I mentioned my dream, Imam Sahib looked at me startled. Hearing the same dream coming from 2 consecutive nights, Imam Sahib also got lost in his thoughts and said that there are 2 types of dreams. One is from the devil and one is from Allah. Imam Sahib said, maybe this dream is from Allah. Either Allah is giving you some hint or Satan is deceiving you. So please wait for one night. If you get the same dream again, then come to me. Till then, I will think of a solution to this issue. I returned home after talking to Imam Sahib. I got some peace. I prepared to go to the meeting, and after getting my children ready, I went to school to drop them. The thought of Marhama wife was stuck in my mind, and I was praying in my heart. I was sure that that dream might be a trick of the devil because digging a loved one's grave is not an easy task, and I did not want my wife's last resting place to be vandalized. For me, this monkey would come there and cry, then trying to dig the grave was unbearable. But that very night when I slept, I couldn't bear it. The same dream came again. My heart burst with grief. My wife is in some difficult prison in the grave, although I am seeing this thrice in my dreams. But that fire is not harming my wife's existence. It is spreading in the air and is definitely troubling her. And after waking up now, I was not able to understand this. My wife was Hafiz Quran. She belonged to a peer family. She had never seen any other man. I had never seen her skipping namaz after marriage. She also taught the children Islamic teachings and was very loyal to me too. Then I don't know why he was not at peace in the grave. I dream for the 3rd time. Seeing this, I became so restless that I remained awake till the morning. When the morning Ajahn began, I quickly got up, did wudu and left for the mosque, offered Fajr namaz and started waiting for the Imam Sahib to finish the prayers. When the worshippers got up and started leaving, I got up and went to the Imam. I went to the Imam Sahib and said, Imam Sahib, I have seen the same dream again last night with restlessness. I asked Imam Sahib to tell me some solution so that my wife can sleep peacefully in her grave, and I should not be troubled too by those dreams. Imam Sahib took a deep breath and said that now the last condition of this is that the grave should be opened and seen. He said that if the punishment of Allah has come upon the dead body present in the grave, then even if we want, we will not be able to open the grave because we will not get permission from Allah. But if there is some other reason, we will open the grave and see, and then maybe we will find a solution. Imam Sahib's words gave me goosebumps, but I was not able to even imagine the punishment sent down by Allah. When I moved towards the graveyard with Imam Sahib, my legs were trembling, and I was praying to Allah again and again that there might be some other issue in my wife's grave, but there should be no punishment from Allah. I told Imam Sahib that my wife is very pious. Allah's punishment cannot befall her. She was very noble. She has done good deeds all her life. Imam Sahib said that only Allah knows the secret of the hearts, and Allah is the one who forgives even the biggest sins. He is also Ghafur Rahim, and Allah Ta'ala is also the one who is strict on small sins. That is why a person should stay careful. When I reached the graveyard with Imam Sahib, even today I got the same monkey. Seeing this, he again started crying and digging my wife's grave and started praying while sitting on the grave. When I came forward to chase him away, Imam Sahib said, "Don't kill him. It is possible that he is doing all this on the orders of Allah, so let him rest comfortably. Remove it and first dig the place where it is digging and see," Imam Sahib said. I agreed and moved ahead. I removed that monkey and started removing the soil on the place marked by that monkey. Then that monkey also sat comfortably on one side. I was opening the grave, chanting Darud Sharif in my heart, when I reached the depth of the same place. I was shocked to see that scene. My heart burst. I screamed and ran away from the grave. Imam Sahib, who was standing behind me, stepped forward and started looking into the pit in the grave. Imam Sahib started praising Astaghfirullah without any reason, while I started crying like a child. I was being consumed by this grief. My wife was suffering so much misery. But I did not get any news. I was crying with grief while Imam Sahib was there. My body was trembling. Whatever I saw in the grave of my deceased wife that day was the most horrifying scene of my life. People who provide comfort and a peaceful bed to their family members throughout their life become so helpless after the death of their loved ones. I was also looking at the monkey who was trying to give me a signal from earlier, but instead, I would drive him and chase him away, but that foolish animal still wanted to help me. Maulvi Sahib looked at me and asked, "Have you ever realized that someone has done this by digging your wife's grave?" Imam Sahib asked me to call the police at that very moment. I called the police and handed over the whole matter to them. I was in a bad state and was crying. SP Sahib was consoling me. The police consoled Gorak, and then 6 policemen in plain clothes started monitoring the cemetery. After 12 days of surveillance, my wife's culprits were caught that day by some men. When they brought the dead body of the woman, the same night some people started digging the grave of that poor woman. They caught 2 people from the police community who were hiding in the cemetery. That's how the culprits were caught. The policemen consoled me. Granted that now no such activities will happen in the cemetery, but I am still relieved. I used to go to my wife's grave every day, take a good look at her, and avoid the entire grave in case the same thing happens to her again. The fear inside me was not ending. I started having hallucinations all the time. I also talked to my friends about the possibility that my wife's grave might have been dug again. He said that just as we appoint some watchmen to keep an eye on the places of living people, similarly, someone should be present outside the cemetery too, so that no one does anything wrong with the dead people who are helpless themselves, my friend. Understanding the point, he kept nodding his head in yes, but I knew someone. He did not agree with me. People believe that dead people are surrendered to Allah, hence it is not our responsibility to look after them. Perhaps this was the truth, but given the circumstances that had been created, I felt that we should not take care of them. The grave should also be protected. My condition was worsening day by day. I also asked the old maid who works in my house whether she has ever heard about the graves that there are blood-soaked effigies kept in them, or something that would scare even a human being. On this strange question of mine, the old lady replied. She was surprised, and with some fear she said, "What are you saying, son?" So, I have never heard that which person can put his hand in the grave. I also remained silent on that woman's simple statement. I knew that no one would believe what I said. In normal circumstances, I would have too considered this a joke, but now I knew that this really happens because I had placed 2 or 3 very small stones in my wife's grave. I saw effigies which had blood on them and huge needles stuck in them. I don't know why those 2 criminals had kept the effigies in my wife's grave, but because of those effigies, my wife was lying restless in her grave. With the help of Sir, Those effigies were taken out, but the restlessness inside me was not ending. I was constantly regretting that if the monkey had not tried to dig the grave and had not given me a hint, I might never have been able to understand. And if I had not had the dream, I might never have had the courage to open the grave. That scene of the grave was so strange to me that no matter how much I tried to use my mind, it did not happen. My eyes could not escape the horrific scene that I had seen while digging my wife's grave. My anger increased beyond limits. Again, I went to Imam Sahib. Imam Sahib softly asked me what happened. "Is everything fine? Aren't you worried? Why are you feeling that?" They thought that I have again become a victim of some problem. Then Imam Sahib asked. I said, "Imam Sahib, I am not getting peace since I saw that scene. I am not able to sleep at night. I think again and again that all that might happen again on my wife's grave. May it happen that my wife does not face any trouble. We should also hire a watchman to guard the graves." On this, Imam Sahib said, "Don't worry, this will not happen again, and the monitoring of the cemetery is that we go to the graves of our loved ones and recite Fatiha daily. This is the condition of leaving the graves unclaimed." Then Imam Sahib said, "What should be done about us? The intellect of Muslims is rusted and they are mired in shirk." Imam Sahib said that only those who practice black magic do such things, and black magic is strictly prohibited in our Islam, and this practice has been declared shirk by Allah Almighty, and shirk is a crime for which there is absolutely no forgiveness. I became a bit uneasy about this. Black magic is prevalent in our country these days. It has become very common in homes that those who practice black magic and cause trouble to others make idols and effigies and keep them in the graves of others. So their dead bodies become victims of so much restlessness. People who do this cause pain and trouble to others, doesn't care at all and hurts many people. At once, Imam Sahib said perhaps that monkey had seen these criminals digging your wife's grave and keeping the effigies in it. That is why he was giving you a signal. But there are some people who keep talismans and amulets in their graves all their life. The effigies remain lying around, but no one even notices, and the dead remain victims of Basak due to the presence of such things in their graves. Imam Sahib told me that you are lucky that you also got a sign from Allah Ta'ala. I cried and told Imam Sahib that my wife was very pious. That is why maybe Allah ended his restlessness, and all this is also true that animals are more loyal than humans. Dear friends, how did you like today's incident? I hope you liked today's incident very much. Majid, to hear similar incidents, please become a part of our family by subscribing to our channel. Thank you.